Okay, my bad, y'all. My bad. I don't know. I had a little technical difficulty a little earlier, but let me start this up again for everybody watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I had to restart this video, do it over again. I don't know what happened. Had a little malfunction, but greetings, Redheads. This is J Red from Red's View. Before I begin this video, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/Red's View, and we're gonna dive right back into what we were talking about. Hopefully, my system ain't janky. For some reason, like I started it, like was sharing my screen to play the a video, but it started echoing me. Hopefully, when I do it again, it don't do it again. But if it does, I might have to shut down and do the broadcast another night. But we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. All right. So let me go back into what we were talking about: Hit Boy versus Hitmaker. Now, for those who don't know what's going on right now, there is a producer beef. That's right, a producer beef that's brewing between Hit Boy, Hitmaker, and also Metro Boomin. But we'll get to that a little later. But for Hit Boy, all right. So who is Hit Boy and who is Hitmaker? Now, Hit Boy, he is a well-known producer that's been out for like the last 15 years. I want to say he's worked with a lot of notable artists. Most recently, he just put out today. Music Soul Child album, and he's worked on four Nas albums that came out recently: King's Disease 1 through 3 and Magic by Nas. Now, he also made Sicko Mode with Drake and Travis Scott, and he also made the Niggas in Paris beat, one of the hardest beats ever, one of the biggest songs ever. All right, so that's Hit Boy. You should know who Hit Boy is, right? And I want to say he produced the Click. Ain't nobody with my click with Big Sean, right? Now, Hitmaker, I'm sure you heard his tag in a lot of the recent popular songs that have charted that's out right now in the last 5 years. He goes, Hitmaker. That's Young Berg. Hitmaker, also known as, or better known as Young Berg. All right. Young Berg was hip hop's pinata back in like 08, 09. Got slapped around a lot, got his chain took. You know the whole story with Young Berg. Anyway, he got beat up so much he had to revamp his career, get another name, and call himself Hitmaker. Now, to his credit, he's produced uh, some decent hits in the last few years, like I said. So he's a notable producer as well. So how did this all begin? All right, so Hitmaker, Young Berg, appeared on Hot 97. And him and Jim Jones, they actually have a project that dropped today. It's a Jim Jones and Hitmaker collaboration album, and it's called Back in My Prime. I've heard a couple of songs on it. Song is, it's pretty cool. So anyway, that dropped, and they're doing a press run, and they happened to stop by Hot 97. Now, Young Berg was not asked about Hitmaker, but not asked about Hit Boy, but his name was brought up. I'm going to attempt to share my screen so we can look and see what happened. Hold on.
Between Hitmaker and Hit Boy.
Uh-huh.
Y'all got the whole.
See, but I'm on the radio.
Smash.
Hit Boy is not on the radio.
Wait.
Oh, and this is fair use, by the way. Let me start that over. Let me start it over.
In Hitmaker and Hit Boy.
Uh-huh.
Y'all got the whole.
See, but I'm on the radio.
Smash.
Hit Boy is not on the radio.
Wait. Shots fired. Wait, it's beef. Wait, hold.
So yeah, shots are fired. He's saying, I'm on the radio. I know we both got hit in our names, but I'm on the radio. Let's continue to see what he said.
Hold on. I was just picking y'all up as new producers. I didn't even know where this was going.
No, I love
Wait,
Hit Boy.
hold
Gunshot,
on.
gunfire.
Yo, you knew this?
Nah,
Jim, you knew about this?
Anything.
Hit Boy is a legend. He's a legendary producer. He's been doing it way longer than me. He's a great guy. But I'm gonna keep it a bean though. If you play the soundtrack to your life for the last 4 or 5 years on radio,
man, come on.
I know it's got to be frustrating with him because my name is so similar, my brother. But
It keeps getting worse.
All right. So you heard it right there. Hey, Auntie Sandra, shout out to my aunt right there. So you heard it right there, right? Shots fired. So Young Berg, Hitmaker, basically said that I'm the better producer. I'm the better producer because I'm on the radio and Hit-Boy is not. I'm on the radio and Hit-Boy is not. It's a difference. Now, what he could have said is a shout out to Hit-Boy. Hit-Boy is doing this thing. Hit-Boy is a great producer. You know, he gave him his flowers, but you know, Young Berg is saying that he pretty much is the better producer because his songs are on the radio. Now, does anybody agree with that particular statement? Because does it mean that if whoever is better, if I'm producing records, now both of them are notable. Hit-Boy has produced all of Nas's most recent projects, right? Which have been phenomenal, critically acclaimed. Now, have they sold 1 million records? No. Have they got a lot of streams? They have, but they haven't been platinum. And he just put out Music Soul Child's album, exclusively produced by him. But he's not heavily on the radio. I don't even know if Hit-Boy is on the radio right now. I'm not sure. I don't even listen to the radio. But from what Young Berg is saying, he's saying that he's the better producer. Is that truthful? Does Hit-Boy, the fact that he doesn't have as many hits as Hitmaker currently on the radio, does that make him less of a, not gonna say less of a producer, but not as good as a producer as Young Berg? And I'm going to continue to call him Young Berg because I can never unsee it. Calling him a hit maker, he has been cemented by the name Young Berg. But what do y'all think? What do you think? My personal opinion is I look at it like this. Shout out to Young Berg, hit maker, for continuing to make hits, right? But to compare himself to Hit-Boy, and I'm not saying he tried to do that, but he tried to differentiate them by saying he has hits on the radio. I want to know about the actual beats, the actual production, because I've heard Hitmaker's production, Young Berg's production. And let me tell you this, man, even though he has hits on the radio, he ain't all that. I'm gonna just say it like this. His beats ain't all that. Now, the thing is, he isn't a traditional producer. See, he's like a Diddy. Young Berg is like a Diddy. Young Berg gets a group of people in the room and helps construct and direct, like a filmmaker, right? For a director, for example. The director isn't always holding the camera. He's just calling the cuts. You know what I'm saying? He's calling the scenes and he's in charge of everything. So a producer, you can be in the studio and get a producer credit if you tell somebody to add this in, do that, and you help build a beat. But the thing is, there comes a battle between, in this instance, it's producer, actual producer versus, okay, put it like this. It's hands-on producer versus non-hands-on producer. Hit-Boy is a hands-on producer. I'm not sure if he works with different people, but from what I've seen him in the studio, he's a hands-on producer. Young Berg, Hitmaker, is not a hands-on producer. So I think it's unfair to even say that you're better than someone who has hands on it. Young Berg helps write the music. He constructs the music, which is dope, but I don't look at him as a producer as I would look at Swizz Beatz, Timberland, Pharrell, the Neptunes, right? I don't look at him as that, the actual person hands-on making the production. So I think it's unfair to, even just because you have a lot of bangers on the radio right now, I don't think it's fair for you to even put yourself in that light of a Hit-Boy. That's my personal opinion. Now, Young Berg is talented for what he's doing because, you know, for those who do listen to the radio and those who pay attention to billboards and charts and all that, Young Berg is killing it. Shout out to him. But compared to Hit-Boy, let's go to the sound. Let's go to the overall sound. Does anybody even know, or did you know, and you can answer in the comments, that Hitmaker is Young Berg? Did you know that was Young Berg? But for those who do know, do you even like his production? Because I'm saying that his production is average. It's industry standard. And when I say industry standard, that doesn't mean that it's bad at all, right? His beats are cool. I would like to get one of his beats that he worked on. But when I hear Hit-Boy's beats, they sound more organic and authentic. Hitmaker's thing feel like you could go get that off BeatStar somewhere. And especially now, most recently, Hitmaker's beats have really just been nothing but loop samples. And he adds updated beats with it, drum patterns, but that's pretty much all that it is. The Young Blue record, Baddest, that came out last year or the year before last. Cool song, but it was just a loop sample of SWV's You're Always on My Mind. I heard some of Tink's album that Hitmaker exclusively produced, Young Berg exclusively produced. Cool sounds, but overall, it's average. And I think that he's being blinded by the success. If you just put his beats and just listen to his beats, I mean, they cool, they knock, but they're not. I don't think 10 years from now we'll be looking back like, man, yeah, Young Berg is one of the best producers ever. Songwriters, maybe, but his production is average. And my thing is this: for him to be as braggadocious as he is, I mean, I I'm not knocking him for, because hip hop in this game is supposed to be flashy, flamboyant, do what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Braggadocious, right? However, you got to be about that. Your work has to speak for itself. And just because you've charted or you have quote unquote hits, all hits aren't really good. We know that. It's some songs on the radio right now that I don't even like listening to. I wouldn't listen to. So I don't listen to radio because everything sounds bland. So if you have a lot of hits on the radio or you're charting right now very high, it says a lot because a lot of people say they don't listen to the radio. You know what I'm saying? But I think that Hitmaker's production, Young Berg's production is just industry standard. It's industry standard, meaning that if you go to a beat site, Beat Stars or just whatever, you'll hear his beats several times. He just has an inside connect with the record label, which is Atlantic. That's one of the biggest record labels on the planet. So, and he has a plug in the industry. So, of course, hands on, people will get a copy of his stuff first, and then, you know, they'll want to mess with his songs. So, but if you hear them, they're really just average beats, in my personal opinion. Hit-Boy, when I hear his production, it's more organic. I feel it more. So yeah, like I just don't think Young Berg should be going around here being braggadocious about average beats, honestly. Now, shout out to him. They've charted, but in my like mind, I feel like Hit-Boy. I'm a roll with Hit-Boy. And I'm an artist myself, by the way. Right here, Red Velvet is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure that you go get that. 4 songs, dope production, right? So I would work with a Hit-Boy before I would work with a Hitmaker. Now, Hitmaker, if you want to get some on the radio, he's the guy right now. He's one of the guys. Him, Metro Boomin, all that, right? But this is my thing too. I think that Young Berg, Hitmaker, needs to humble himself. This man needs to humble himself because the past couple of years, I've been seeing him. I think he went back on the Breakfast Club, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been doing different interviews. But he's always been this cocky, braggadocious type of person ever since he was Young Berg. But do you remember when he was hip hop's pinata? And I'm not trying to say this to disparage Young Berg. Stuff happens. But Mano slapped him because he was talking too much. Trick in Detroit, he was caught slipping. I think that was in Detroit, man. And he got his transformer chain took. That was back when he had that transformer chain. I don't know if y'all remember it. If y'all do remember it, let me see if I can find it real quick. Young Berg transformer chain. Let me see when he used to rock it. All right, it was big too, man. It was big. Dog, I'm trying to find a good picture of it, man. Well, this should be good enough. Hold on, let me share my screen. All right, so this was his transformer chain right here, man. You can see it like right here, and then it kind of gets small, but it was real big. Y'all see it? That was. Oh no, it ain't even showing. Hold on, let me remove this. Hold on. Let me get this back up. Hold on. Having a little technical difficulty. All right. Right here. That was his chain. The infamous transformer chain that got took by Trick Trick. Right there. Y'all remember when he got that took and it was all on the internet and stuff, looked like it was about to be auction. But yeah, I brought that up because Young Berg was getting into a lot of fights and getting slapped, and they were literally calling him hip hop's pinata back then. And I think it was just because he was doing too much. Like Mano was saying, he was doing too much, being too extra. So I see this path now. It's like he's doing too much, just talking like, and it's good. Like every time you see him, he's talking about his success. And I think the reason he's doing that is because of how he was treated when he was in the industry as a rapper. Because back then you couldn't tell him nothing. Hey Sexy Lady, I think it was Sexy Ladies that came out. That charted pretty high. It was a hit. The Business, one of my favorite records from him. Probably, I mean, it is my favorite record. I think The Business was good. That charted. That was a pretty hot song back then. Outer Space, I want to say that was a nice song. And he had the Sexy Ladies remix. And then him and Ray J had a nice banger in like 09, I think. Sexy Can I? So he was, always talking about, I got the #1 single in the country. I got this, that, and the third. And then boom, something ended up happening to him. Like he just had too much. So I think he just needs to humble himself. He's been having this success, but I think he really just needs to calm down, take it down a notch, because that's what got his ass whooped in the first place. So yeah, that's my take on that. Now, Hit-Boy, let's go back to Hit-Boy. Hit-Boy actually made a diss record. He made a diss record towards Young Berg and another producer as well, Metro Boomin. So hold on, let me see. Where is this at? Hit-Boy diss record. Gotta let y'all hear this real quick. And Hit-Boy got bars, by the way. He got bars. I hope that's him writing it. Hold on a second though. All right. Let me share my screen so y'all can hear this. Bear with me. Just found it. All right. Listen to this.
I'm usually homeboys with producers I get compared to, but on this one I wanna see him stretched out, extra leg boom. I don't really know dude, he seemed like a cool cat, but I never once heard Metro Boomin do boom bap. I never heard a Southside beat without an 808 in it. HB in drunk driver mode, I swerve in every lane with it. I fuck with Mustard, he could make that ratchet shit with his eyes closed, but now I'm starting to wonder, kid, that nigga chop soul. I just seen Young Berg spoke on the wave. I should do him like Trick and snatch hit out his name. I had to code the game, I had to code it some days. I'm like Bieber on this cruiser, how you got no credits without co-producers?
Oh man, yeah, man. So that was Hit-Boy. He put out seemed like a control verse, like a control type of Kendrick Lamar going to everybody verse. Excuse me, in that video. He hadn't released the full song, but he's coming for blood. He called a Metro Boomin, Southside, DJ Mustard, Young Berg, Hitmaker. You know what I'm saying? And he's coming for blood, man. So is this a producer battle? Are the other producers gonna respond as far as rap records? Now, Young Berg actually responded to it, not as a diss record, but he responded to it. He responded to it under an IG post. He responded to it under an IG post, and this is what he had to say right here. Let's find it. This is what he had to say right here. If y'all can see it. Yeah. It says, all I said was he ain't making radio / mainstream shit. And he dissed us on a beat that won't never touch mainstream radio. Solidify my statement. Ouch. Now I ain't gonna lie. That was a good little response to that. The man said he dissed us on a beat that won't never touch mainstream or radio. Solidified my statement. So that's the thing. That just leaves the question again. Is mainstream radio, if you have a lot of hits on there versus another producer who's a great producer that doesn't have it, but he's in the industry working with the same type of people, does that make you the better producer, right? Does that make you the better producer? Now, my question is this. Was this all planned? Is this producer beef planned? Because I just find it kind of odd, and I put my tinfoil Koofy hat on just for shits and giggles. I don't know, but I find it kind of strange that Young Berg and Jim Jones were on the radio. Young Berg said what he had to say, and then the next day, Hit-Boy puts out a diss track. Well, I ain't gonna say he put it out, but he was in the studio cooking it up. Now, could have been he seen that, or word got back to him beforehand, and then he just got to the studio? Because I mean, all the producers typically live in the studio. Is that what happened, or is it the fact that they came together? They all cool. I'm talking about Southside, Metro Boomin, Hit Boy, Hitmaker, and they said, "Man, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's spice up the game right now, the culture." There hadn't really been a producer battle in a minute. I think I can't remember the last one I heard, but I remember when Scott Storch and Timberland were beefing with each other. And Timberland called Scott Storch just a piano man. Y'all remember that on it was what was that record? It was a Nelly Furtado record, I think. See us in the club. Oh, no. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. Say my name, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so maybe they got together and said, man, let's spice it up. Let's get this thing hot. Let's get the culture talking. You know, could be they created this. You never know. So what do y'all think? Was this beef planned? Is this a real beef? Let me know. Now let's break down this. Let me go to this. The difference between a beat maker and a producer and a beat maker. Now this holds an interesting combo, right? What's the difference between a beat maker and a producer? So a producer, like I said earlier, is just somebody typically who can help, like they create music. And when you create music, you don't necessarily have to be hands-on. You can get somebody who's good at drums, get somebody who's good at a bass, a keyboardist, just whatever. And you can literally tell everybody, this is what I want you to do, and that can make you a producer. A producer can also be a beat maker. Beat makers are the ones who pretty much just make beats. They're hands-on with it, and they don't really do too much outside of just beat making, right? Metro Boomin, I feel like he's a beat maker. Southside, I feel like he's a beat maker. ATL Jacob, I think he's a beat maker. A producer is somebody who does more. And I'm not sure if Metro Boomin and all of them actually construct the music as far as helping write and all this other stuff, other instruments and stuff like that. But I know somebody like Timberland, that's a producer. Pharrell, the Neptunes, those are producers. Jermaine Dupri is a producer. Like Jermaine Dupri will make the beat, help write everything, just like how Young Berg is. But Jermaine Dupri is actually hands-on, right? So a beat maker is different from a producer. See, beat makers are the ones who you can find on these producer websites, these beat maker websites, BeatStars. If you go to SoundClick, those are all pretty much beat makers and not producers. So yeah, like a producer does not have to have a musical background. A producer can literally just get everybody in one room and they construct the beat or have a piece in making the beat, and they can become a producer. Just like in film, a producer, right? An executive producer, that pretty much just can mean that they just put the money up to help produce the film. They didn't write it, they didn't direct it, they didn't act in it, nothing like that. They just had the bread to put up, and you could be an executive producer, a producer. So that's what the difference between a producer and a beat maker is. Beat makers can make some good production. Producers usually make better production because it could be more people involved. They're involved more. They help make the song. A beat maker can just sell you the beat. They made this beat, they looped this sample, put some 808s on there, and then boom, they just sell you the beat. That's a beat maker. They don't have to have any direction with you. They make the beat, they give you the beat files, you purchase it. That's a beat maker. A producer typically is going to be working with you. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to be like, okay, you should do this on this song. Dr. Dre is a producer. Teddy Riley is a producer. Jermaine Dupri, a producer. Timberland, a producer. Pharrell, a producer. people like Drummer Boy, I don't know if you could say he's a producer. I'm not sure, but I think mostly beat maker. But yeah, most of the producers out here now are beat makers. Now, let me ask you this. This is a good question. Should producers who are not hands-on be compared to hands-on producers? Should producers who are not hands-on be compared to hands-on producers? This is a worthy discussion because it goes back to the Hit-Boy versus Hitmaker beef. And Soulja Boy even called Young Berg out about this, I think last year or the year before, something like that. He was like, hey, Young Berg, you don't even make beats. You don't even make beats. You just get people in the room and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So, and to his credit, Young Berg has openly admitted that that's pretty much what it is. But if he has a lot of hits on the radio and he's labeling himself as a producer, is it fair for him to compare himself to people who are actually hands-on, who are talented, who actually construct these records, like who really are hands-on with it? Like if you got a musical background and you play the instruments and everything like that, is it fair for a Young Berg or a Diddy to be like, I'm the best producer of all time? If I'm the coldest producer in the game. Is it fair to compare them to the people that are hands-on, like a Pharrell, like a Jermaine Dupri? You know what I'm saying? Is it fair to actually do that? Y'all let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think. And then subscribe. Everybody who's watching right now, Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook and everything, share this, retweet this, and subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. Support the show. Cash App is right there. But yeah, that's a good discussion right there. I want to know what y'all think. So my Aunt Sandra, you said no. I feel you. I feel you on that. 100%. 100%. I don't think that it's fair. I think that you can say that you can still call yourself a producer, but just like if you're a rapper, I would never respect Drake in the same regard I would a Jay-Z or a Lil Wayne, because Drake and Kanye West, even though they are rappers, they can rap, they are talented, they typically have other people write their music. If you've consistently had other people write your music, I can't look at you the same. Like a Bow Wow. Bow Wow can say he was a great child star rapper, child star artist, but he can't say he was one of the best rappers ever, because when you think of rappers, you're thinking about MCs, people who actually write their lyrics. So somebody who is very talented with words like Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, Eminem, everybody who actually sat down and write their rhymes, their lyrics, you can't compare that to someone who let someone else write their stuff. They happen to be the voice of it. Now, it could be a thing where I wrote the track, but my sound didn't sound as good as a Drake, and Drake made it pop. Shout out to him for doing that. But Drake will be a hip hop artist and not rapper. One of the greatest rappers. I think Drake is one of the greatest artists of all time, hip hop artist, hip hop recording artist, but I don't think he's one of the best rappers of all time. But yeah, if you do agree that you don't have to be hands-on and be one of the best producers and go around like Young Berg is saying right now, let me know in the comments. But if you disagree with that and you feel like how I'm feeling, then let me know that as well. But I don't think that you can compare people who are not hands-on. If you're not hands-on the project and you're actually making the beats, if you're not doing that, then you shouldn't be saying nothing, man. Keep your mouth closed as far as being one of the greatest in hip-hop. Now, in the R&B world, it's different. The rock world is probably different, but I know in hip-hop, yeah, we're going to feel a certain type of way about that. But one thing I want to say is I think production overall is lacking in hip-hop. Production is overall lacking. So maybe this producer beef, this producer battle that's brewing right now, maybe it's needed, because I've said on this show countless times that nobody's standing out right now as far as like Hit-Boy is. You know what I'm saying? Because Hit-Boy is making great bodies of work. He's the only one who's making the beats that I love. But even him, I don't think he stands out like a Neptunes or Timberland. In the past, he has. He's one of the greats right now, but we were at a time when we had Swizz Beatz, Timberland, the Neptunes. We had so many producers, Rock Wilder. We had so many beat makers at that time. Everybody was making great music, great production. But we don't have that right now, man. Honestly, Metro Boomin, I'm not like his beats are nice. They knock, but it's just everything's kind of average sounding right now. It's bland. There ain't no soul in music right now, not in production. We had some great music back then, but it's not like it is now. You can't just blame it on the rappers. You got to look at the producers as well. The writers can only do so much, but I think the production right now is lacking overall in hip hop. And maybe this producer beef or whatever you want to call this can help get things up, get things going, because I think that we need a better sound right now, because who's out right now ain't getting the job done. Southside, Metro Boomin. Who else did he say? DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard was doing this thing for a little bit, but you know, his beats are kind of sounding the same and stuff like that. So we just need it to be amped up. We really need for it to be amped up. But man, that was a good little discussion that I just had to put out there real quick. Don't want to keep y'all on here for long. Make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. If you're on Twitter, make sure that you retweet this. Make sure that you share this. Thank you for participating and everything, but make sure that you comment as well. And stream the EP right here. It is called Red Velvet. Red Velvet is available on all streaming platforms for smooth tracks. If you've been watching me on Instagram and then my Facebook and stuff, you've been seeing my Who samples where I flip the samples and DJ it, then I rap my lyrics to it. Real dope, real phenomenal. So yeah, man. Yeah, but that's been my time, y'all. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at JAYR3D. I'll probably be going back live Tuesday. I'm gonna try to go live every Tuesday at like 8 or 8:30 p.m. I gotta come up and make sure that it's solid and concrete, but I'm gonna try to go live this coming Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit the like button, or you can hit the dislike button. It's all good. And then make sure that you comment, leave those comments and let me know, because I think this is a great discussion. But anyway, y'all, peace out. J Red, Reds View, signing out.